This is Channel 253.
On this episode of the Grit and Grain podcast.
So I'm just like thinking about people's daily lifestyle and when the majority of people are going to be on and looking, because you want to post as close to that as possible, because the sooner you get that engagement, the more Instagram is going to push that out to people and say, well, this is for any. I'm saying Instagram because that's my personal favorite platform.
Right.
But really, any of the platforms that will apply to.
Channel 253 is member supported. I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I hope you will show your support by going to channel253.com/membership and join. Thank you.
Welcome to the Grit and Grain podcast, where we explore and celebrate the craft beer industry, community, and history in Tacoma, Washington, and surrounding Pacific Northwest areas. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let's get to it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Grit and Grain podcast, coming to you guys from Peaks and Pints in Tacoma, Washington. My name is Matt McLaren. Here, as always, with Ron Swarner.
Hello.
What's up, Ron?
I'm stoked to talk about Friendster today.
Was it?
Me too.
Friendster?
That's before your time.
Wow. Rough.
Bet it wasn't.
It probably wasn't, but you weren't into it. Appropriately.
Yeah. I was posting to it.
So like Napster?
Not even close. But it's okay. That was
Kind of like
Same era?
Kind of like Classmates.
Is this like OG Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's OG, yeah.
MySpace.
Yeah, it was a MySpace competitor.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Bethany, how are you?
Good.
Good. Me too. Doug's also on mic. How's it going, Doug?
Eating Phaedra's food.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Phaedra?
Thank you, Phaedra.
We only have 5 minutes. Just yell.
We can do 6. 6 separate.
Well, yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. I don't say it often enough, but if you haven't yet, please like and share and subscribe and do all that stuff. Helps us out a ton, and we would love to have more eyes and ears on the podcast. Yeah, we have a great episode today, actually. So we are catching up with somebody who we have had on before, and who actually brings a really unique and I think very uniquely important bit of information to this industry and to this podcast. So I'm super pumped. Rachyl, how are you doing today?
I am very well.
Very
Thanks
good.
for having me back. I'm excited to be here.
Good. And I should say Rachyl from Thorntail now.
Yeah.
Rachyl from Thorntail.
You have a new job within a year.
I have a new job.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's been fantastic. New brand that launched this last year.
New brand, a new category.
Yes, and a brand. Yeah, absolutely. Like one of a kind beverage. And
Yeah,
What is it?
Hard agave?
it's hard agave.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not tequila. It's
Not mezcal.
It's not mezcal. It's 100% agave that has been fermented, and then it stops there instead of going to being distilled. So it doesn't turn into tequila. It's kind of more of like a really clean sort of seltzer base, but that's made with imported agave. So it's a little bit more crafty in that way, and it's just a completely all natural product. No artificial anything in it, which is great.
Nice.
It's lovely and delicious.
It's very sustainable as well.
Carbonated or not
It is
carbonated?
carbonated. It's lightly carbonated, so it's a little less bloating.
I was going to say, it sounds refreshing.
It's very refreshing.
Yeah.
It is refreshing. Yeah, it's super refreshing. It's really they're 5% ABV, so it's like just a good one to sip on, multiple on a nice day, or you can make cocktails out of it and add a little punch of tequila to it. I just was videoing a little cocktail this afternoon that just got posted. So, and I sipped some of that, but I didn't drink the whole thing. Now I wish I had.
Yeah. Catch up with us.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Classic doubleheader day.
Yeah. So I've seen
versatile.
you camped a lot this summer, according to
camp a lot.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And I saw the can with you quite a bit.
Yeah, well, yes, that's because if I'm doing things that look cool, then I try to capture
So my
content.
question is, how do you have internet?
You know what? I have two main spots that I will not disclose of my favorite camping places that I go back to. There's lots of other places that I would like to explore, but these are like getaway-able, like quickly, like it's not that far to go. Both of them just happen to have some Wi-Fi access. Like I have
The Proctor
some,
Gulch.
I have a little bit of reception. So I can't like upload like a long video, but I can take a bunch of content and I will get times that I can upload some stories. That's what I usually do. Well, because I like to go by myself, so it's like I'm not like talking to anyone else. So by the end of the night, when I'm like just hanging out by the fire drinking some beers, I'm like, all right, well,
Better
I
do some
should
work.
put my phone away, and just enjoy the time. But I enjoy the social side too. So
And when you take that photo, where do you post it at?
I post it on my stories. Is that what you?
What's the handle?
Oh, on Beers and Bedtime. Let me take one.
Yeah, I know. We could have done that for you if we were like good at this.
It's like I don't do any kind of marketing stuff.
How long has that been in existence?
Beers and Bedtime?
Yeah.
I think it's 5 or 6 years. I think it's 6.
Wow.
I think it's 6. Yeah.
It's a long run.
How many posts do you have? Do you know?
Oh, over 1,000.
Has to be 1,000, right?
Yeah.
And you have, what, 12 now?
12,000
Yeah.
followers. Yeah.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Small local beer fluencer.
Yeah.
Well, thanks,
You should follow if
guys.
you want to know what to drink, for sure.
That is
I
true.
only post delicious, high quality.
Right. I've never seen
Cheers.
you pour one out.
Well, I don't show. The other day I had 2 back to back, and I was
Really?
so
Two stinkers?
disappointed. Yeah, and I was just like, no, I'm not
Oh,
gonna
man.
drink
Like
it.
the video is great, but the beer was like,
No, I just won't like post. I'll use. Normally,
You taste it first.
I will taste it first, but not necessarily. I go back to the same breweries over and over again, and then if a new brewery comes, up, then I'll try some of their stuff. And sometimes if I don't like that, then I'll wait a few months, maybe 6 months, and then I'll
Good
try
call.
it again.
Oh.
And then I'm like, if I still don't like it, chances are I'm probably not gonna get cans of it. I might if somebody else has it, then I might take a sip of it and try it out. But I feel like so few breweries are really consistent, and it's expensive to drink craft beer. And I'm like,
Word.
Because of all the hops.
like, sure, yeah.
All right, Ron. We didn't even get to that.
That's right. I forgot.
Part 3.
So yeah, so I have my favorites that I go back to, and so generally I know they're gonna be good, but sometimes
So, but you don't post beer that you don't like.
I don't post beer that I don't like.
Good for you.
Yeah, yeah,
I respect that.
yeah.
And she said 12,000, or excuse me, 1,200 posts.
So thank you.
Phaedra.
And a
Fact check, Phaedra.
bajillion stories, but yeah.
So yeah, and so we didn't specify, but your position at Thorntail is social media, correct?
That is correct.
Which
Yep.
is awesome. And like super duper fucking important for, first of all, a new brand, but also a brand new category. And I would say that like Thorntail's marketing so far has been really interesting. Is there like, I don't know, how are you guys approaching marketing for Thorntail as a brand new category?
I feel like you have like a little secret.
Well,
Yeah,
so like,
go
okay,
on.
so there's really, so like, you guys might, so Kurt Leishman, who also works at Thorntail, who's been in the industry for a long time.
Silver City.
Yeah, absolutely. He was Silver City
That's how
sales
we
manager
met.
for a long time. Yeah, where you also worked
Lovely
as well.
man.
Lovely man, yes.
I think you were there actually the last time you were on. I think you were still at Silver City.
I think I
maybe.
wasn't.
Oh,
I
maybe
think I
not.
had been with Foster's, and I was
Oh, that's right.
leaving.
That's right,
Yeah.
That's right. So yeah, Kurt like will randomly post stuff and like he's like, oh look, somebody spray painted on the side of a brick building in Seattle what is hard agave, and that's like very. If you guys are familiar with like Bumble's very like famous marketing strategies, like they would post like random shit around college campuses that says like no Facebook, no Twitter, no Instagram, no Bumble, and everybody would be like, what the fuck is Bumble? And so to me, there's like this, obviously it's like a marketing approach and it's very clever. Do you feel like you guys are approaching, marketing a new category of hard beverage, like in a unique way?
I think so. I think that we have a lot of different ways that we are trying to engage people, and I think that it's important to sort of cast a wide net when you have a new product and your new brand. And so I think that sort of like the what the fuck campaign. Can I say that?
You told-
Okay,
Yeah.
All right.
Have you not? I feel like I've dropped 3 of those since we started.
They just live in my head,
That's
and I
fair.
say them frequently. But yeah.
Perfect.
So the What the Fuck campaign, I think, it was genius. I think a lot of people are like, what the fuck is hard agave?
Yep.
And it is something that we're trying to explain. And so it was a nice way and sort of like I don't know, grassroots isn't the right.
No, I think you're right.
Okay,
Grassroots, like / viral marketing, like
Yeah.
it's there. But it's funny too because like there's this like interesting thing where it almost feels negative, and that's like how the Bumble thing was like so popular too. Is like, why does this feel like you're telling people not to use it, but you're also getting people to Google it.
Yeah.
If somebody sees that and is like, fuck, what the fuck is hard agave? Yeah. If they Google what the fuck is hard agave and you guys are the first thing that comes up, then you still have traffic and traction and all of this stuff, and it is very smart. Yeah. And
it's sort of that reverse psychology a little bit too. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I think it's very smart. And actually the reason I bring it up is because I like as beer changes and like we've talked about kind of the attrition and the tree shaking over the next few years, things like creative marketing and reaching new audiences through methods that people have not really touched on in the beer industry for 40 years are probably going to be a big part of deciding factor of like which breweries survive and don't. Yeah. And you guys are a new category. It's a mostly unknown brand, and so you're like targeting this sort of methodology head on, and I love that. I think it's important, and people should follow what you guys are doing, at least in some sort of way.
Yeah.
Where's it based out of?
It's based in Seattle. We don't have a taproom location, so we do contract brewing through Fremont. And then the owners are originally from Seattle. They actually just moved to Wenatchee. But
Oh, really?
It's So it's a really small team. There's 4 of us, including the owner and his wife.
Dang.
And and it's been just a really, really great team to work with. I think I've like super enjoyed it being such a small team, and that I like everyone's personalities. Obviously, I knew Kurt already, and we knew that we got along, but he wasn't my like direct supervisor at Silver City, so I've got to know him so much better. But we just work really well together, and he's just a really, really good guy he's
a hard worker, man.
He's a really hard worker. He also just knows how to like manage people and how to like put them like off on the best foot and elevate them, and like I don't know. He's a good coach in that way. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
What was his connection with Silver City? Sorry.
He was the president.
Okay.
He was like he was like their sales manager and like director for a long time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
He was like early on in Silver City and like
when we opened in 2016, he was the sales manager.
Long time industry dude. Who distributes you Thorntail?
Columbia.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yep, we're with Columbia.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's been good.
Sure.
Is production going to move to Wenatchee, or?
They did move. Well, they physically moved just themselves.
No, but is production going to move to Wenatchee ultimately? Okay.
No. No. Yep. Yeah. In fact, hopefully, just distribution will move into
Eastern Washington.
Sure.
So Matt, I'm drinking this level. That's weird. Call mom.
Okay, good.
Have you tried it?
I have tried it.
Yeah.
The gin
What do you think?
barrel one.
I love it.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I
It
should've asked you what you were
really
drinking.
works. Yeah.
I know. Rachel, what are you drinking?
I am drinking the Occidental Light Lager.
Oh, nice. Phaedra said that a minute ago, too.
It's light and refreshing.
Totally.
It's delightful.
I poured the rest of this Dreamweaver from Here Today / Human People into my glass. So it's sleepy time after this because it has chamomile in it.
Oh, no. I love chamomile.
Me too.
We all
Going
can
to
take a nap now.
Do you also
Yeah.
love the Doors?
I do love the tour. When I was in high school, I had started collecting vinyl, and I can't remember which album it is, but the sleeve of it has Jim Morrison like reaching out. It's like the black and white, like iconic photo, and I had that pinned right above my bed, so I would wake up and I would see Jim Morrison.
Dang.
I was slightly obsessed.
Wow.
Is it a shirt all the way from high school?
No, the shirt is
new.
stolen from my my 14-year-old that got it at a thrift store. So I was like,
Excellent.
Word.
I'm
Best
almost
present
in
ever.
the space where I can fit both of my kids' clothes, and so I'm like, you guys can't borrow my clothes, but I am for sure gonna borrow yours. So.
It's a
I've
one-way
earned this.
street.
Yeah.
Bethany, what are you drinking?
Still the Single Hill
Oh,
energy
word.
cone.
Good call.
I'm going to get a new one at break. Yeah.
Still, a week later?
Yeah.
Gin barrel aged totally works.
So I was actually down at Level. So Brewalip is coming up, and the Cascades guys just announced that they were in the process of selling to one of their employees. So Cascades, who you've had on, we've had Andy and AJ on, and they run Brewalip every year. And to my knowledge, they're still going to do that. But I've been working with those guys since they opened. I was like there at like 9 p.m. hanging tin tackers before they even like opened their doors, and so we have never made a beer together. So we went down to Level and made a beer together last week, and I tried that while I was there, and it was fucking delicious.
I love it.
It's great. Yeah. Level messes around with fresh hops a lot. They're kind of cheeky about it, and they just throw it into whatever. So they have like a fresh hop amber ale, which is like very silly, but it's delicious.
Well, Vice has a fresh hop brown.
That is true. Wetter than Ezra.
Yeah. I text him.
You did? You text him?
Yeah, I text Ezra saying, I'm drinking your beer.
Good.
Fresh hop brown.
Yeah. It's on purpose.
Okay.
Interesting.
I know we need to have Ezra on so I can have the fresh hop versus wet hop debate with him on camera. Okay, so Thorntail is, we're here to talk about you. However, I do want to talk about Thorntail because I've actually sold, so it is a new category, but I've actually sold something super similar. We're super small, so we'll sign random little projects and brands all the time. And oftentimes being first to market is really difficult.
Yeah.
Being second to market is kind of where you can sort of like actually build something. So we worked with Akos, which is not hard agave, but hard palm. It's like hard palm sugar.
I'm not familiar with this. Okay,
Super small
cool.
project,
Yeah.
very small project, but very similar.
Yeah.
Like the idea was that they would source palm sugar mostly from places where the palm trees were being cut down. And so instead of cutting them down, they would harvest the palm sugar, and then it was more profitable for the places that were doing that, which is cool. But this is the thing that I would actually say that they're missing is the marketing piece. I think that if they were better at explaining what it was or getting people to like engage with their story in a different way, it would be different. And so I just happen to have like personal and professional experience with like something of a similar category that probably could have benefited from like your guys' approach. And I don't know, have you had struggles with people not understanding what Thorntail is? Like as you've been there?
For sure. Yeah, I think that people assume that it's like a canned cocktail thing that's using tequila. And for one, like the price point is not there. Canned cocktails are so expensive.
Seriously.
Also with like the taxing and stuff.
Totally.
So, the ABV just isn't there. So people are confused and they're like, "Oh, what do you mean you're one of a kind?" I've had some like backlash sometimes on posts, and people are like, "Well, this company has already done this and this company has already done it," and it's like, okay, but that's not what we are, and it's just because you don't understand. You're not quite. You don't understand.
You don't get it. Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know.
Perfect way to get customers. If you don't get it, just fucking say that.
I'm like, here, let me direct you to our website. And you can see like this flow chart of like how it goes. I think that obviously before I came on, they had some other social media presence and stuff, and they had started out a few months before I came on. I think I came out in April and they launched in December, so it wasn't super long. But what's my point?
Well, actually, you're actually leading into my next question. Was if you have people that are confused, which you obviously have, as you've taken over social media, how have you approached that as their social media manager? How are you going about educating people with a social media presence on like the story of Thorntail and what you guys are really doing?
I think that I have been trying to break it down into bite-sized pieces. So instead of like explaining the whole entire thing, it's sort of like some of it is explaining what we aren't. So it's like we aren't an R&D cocktail. We aren't a tequila. We don't use tequila in there. And I think that explaining that it's a fermented agave and not distilled agave is the easiest way to differentiate that.
Sure.
But even some people don't quite understand that. Like that can be, It's like I am just opening up a can of whatever. I don't know what's distilled and what's fermented and what the difference is, maybe.
Yeah.
Sure.
So without it becoming like a science lesson, I think that we also are just kind of talking about the features of it, with it being all natural, with it being lower carbonation, using like real fruit juice, and it being made locally. That we're focusing on some of those key points too, because I think that that's a lot of reason why people choose a brand or don't choose a brand.
Sure.
And I think that also when you're launching something that's a brand new, especially if it's a brand new category, I think that companies don't think about the amount that they should be spending in marketing. And it's like, all right, if I have a pretty can and I have a social presence, then that's like enough. And it's like there really needs to be a bigger scale on things and like multiple kind of triggers that are being pulled at different times.
Sure.
Yeah. It is a pretty can.
It is a pretty can,
I
though.
love the
I
color.
really like I love the colors too.
Yeah.
I'm like, it looks nice in my like living space when I'm doing it out.
It's fridge decor now.
It is really like well done, and I didn't have anything to do with the branding, obviously, but I appreciate that they took the time, and that was
Sure.
not an oversight. Yeah.
Do you feel like you guys are marketing to an existing like craft beverage audience, or are you capturing like new? Would you say you're capturing a new audience that maybe hasn't been tapped yet?
I think it's a broad net across alcoholic drinkers.
Okay.
So I think that you could be...
That's a great answer, by the way.
Okay, good. I think that if you like tequila and you like liquor and stuff like that, then you can be a Thorntail drinker. I think if you're a seltzer drinker, you can absolutely be a Thorntail drinker.
Right.
I think my background is being a beer drinker and not really leaning towards liquor or towards seltzer. I love it. I love it, and I'm not like I 100%. I'm not saying that because I work for them. I thought, okay, this is a brand I'm going to be brought on with, and maybe the product will be okay,
Right.
But
I'll have to find a way to negotiate this internally so I can
I
support it.
Yeah, I won't be maybe like personally super excited about it, but just because I haven't in the past found very many seltzers and things like that I enjoyed or that I wanted to drink on any kind of regular basis, and I think a lot of that is because it's super high carbonation on a lot of seltzers, and it's and I don't like artificial flavors. I don't like the lingering taste.
Like truly.
And it's like overly sweet, and I don't.
I've never had one. I've just heard.
I was like, what?
I've never even heard of it.
Had a lifespan.
Sorry. Keep going.
So I think that I was surprised by that. So I think that even craft beer drinkers, and I think that a lot of people aren't like me as craft beer drinkers, and they do drink multiple different things. That's what I usually want to drink, and that's what I'm thinking about at the end of the night. But there have absolutely been nights that I'm like, I know that a beer is going to make me feel bloated. And it didn't used to be that way, but it is now. And I'm like, I am not going to have a beer.
All right, Ron.
I feel like the older that we get and we want to still, enjoy something to drink.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It affects me differently. And so then I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a Thorntail instead. So, yeah, I think that it's reached different. I don't know. It's got its fingers in all of it.
I think that also
basket.
the other thing is that agave isn't really grain based, right? So
No, it's
that's
not.
Plant-based.
Yeah.
that's a difference for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And not
It's
everybody
gluten-free.
It is
can.
gluten-free.
Yeah. So not everybody can get into tequila because that
Yeah.
has its own kind of
Yes.
connotation, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Blacklisted for most people.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly...
Not for me,
Yeah.
not for me personally, but for many people, it totally is.
It's like a hard no.
Yes.
If they see tequila. Yeah.
Well, what's wrong with dancing naked, Doug? Come on.
Dude,
Sometimes the situation
Totally
doesn't
does.
call for that. Sometimes.
So Jose Cuervo is 100% on my blacklist. Jose Gold specifically.
Well, and it should be because it's not
And it should
really
be.
tequila.
It should be. So
It should be.
Stupid segue, but just so I was a receiver for a liquor store for a long time. I had a driver pull up one time, and like we were just bullshitting, and he was like, "Hey, I bet you $10 you can't guess what case I broke in my truck."
Oh, no.
And so I was like, I don't know, maybe I got $10. I'll just see. So I walk up and I'm within like 9 feet of his truck, and I go, and I fucking dry heaved. I was like, that's Jose Cuervo. So he gave me $10. The second that it hit me, I was just
The waft.
dude, the waft.
There's so many people that I could totally identify
Oh,
with
dude,
that.
it was immediate. If it was either that or Rumplemint, he would have owed me money regardless. My only two blacklisted beverages.
151.
Yeah.
I played darts with that one
Oh,
night.
Shit.
Yeah.
I saw God on the beach in Oregon. Then
I bet you
And then they discontinued it.
Is 151 not around anymore?
I don't think so.
No, this is
Wow.
Vegas.
I mean, I don't want it. So I'm just darn curious. I mean,
Speaking of mixing stuff with Thorntag.
ooh,
Yeah.
no.
Oh
We'll
my
keep it
goodness.
more pure than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so my brewer's brain is going to like, how are each of these? How is the beverage made versus like tequila? So let's like separate them, right? So you've got the agave syrup,
Yep.
and you're gonna ferment it with like
With
beer
tequila
yeast.
yeast. It's actually tequila yeast,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That is cool, right?
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Versus like obviously if you're making tequila, you would take the agave syrup and do what?
I think that
Almost.
you do. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
it's the
go
same.
ahead.
It's almost the same, actually. Yeah. It's
Ferment and then distill.
you almost have to make hard agave in order to make tequila. You still need
Yeah.
to ferment the liquid, but then just distill it.
Okay, that's where my brain was going. I
Yep.
wasn't sure
Yep.
if
So
that.
there's-
So it's like the it's a precursor to tequila.
In
It's
fact, that's how it
distiller's beer.
came into being. Is that the owner was originally messing around with making tequila and was not loving the end product, and then tried the hard agave and was like, this is just a really like clean base that is. There's really no tequila type characteristic, so it doesn't. So it's for people that don't like tequila, which I'll drink a margarita every once in a while, but I'm not like a big tequila person. But making them I don't know, maybe I am now, but I used to not be a tequila person. but it doesn't have that type of flavor. So I feel like if you like tequila, you might be interested in it just because it's from hard agave or from agave. If you don't like tequila, it's not anything that's gonna affect the flavor of it. So try it if you don't like tequila. There's no tequila flavor.
Have an open mind about
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So tequila mash is agave plants that are like cooked. It's usually like cooked over open fire, which is why mezcal is so smoky. And then you pretty much do a mash, but it's with the cooked plants. And so the cooking will turn all the starches to sugars. And then you do like a mash, pretty much like a distiller's mash. And then that's what you're distilling. So you're kind of making hard agave. It's just not carbonated and stuff, but it's probably a very similar product. If you took that mash and then filtered it and then carbonated it, you would get just this normal hard agave that wasn't distilled.
Cool.
But if you're making any kind of whiskey, you make distiller's beer. That's like a really common, that's like actually what it's called, is distiller's beer. It's really starchy and not very good to drink because your focus is like efficiency for distillation and not actually like tasting the beer. So you're using much more like 6-row barley and like other kinds of stuff. But you still have to make beer in order to make whiskey. And so like stands to reason that you have to make hard agave actually to make tequila, which is funny.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Tequila gets a bad rap.
What else
It
are we
really
not
does.
making?
Yeah.
What else are we missing out on?
More things can we
How many
do?
things can
Yeah.
we stop before distillation so I can make it at home without breaking laws?
Yeah, no kidding. Good Lord.
We're going to take a break, refill beers, and go pee.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back, so stick around.
Tequila.
Hello, Channel 253 listeners. This is Eric Hanberg, your host of the Citizen Tacoma podcast.
And producer Doug.
Sound producer Doug, I understand that you recently turned to Pod Auntie Marguerite for real estate matchmaking advice.
I did, and not just because she's a great friend, but because she's a sterling professional, and she knows the market, and she knows the people who operate in this market.
That's right. She can help you find a particular agent who knows their things, whether it's condos, whether it's, waterfront, undeveloped property, north end, whatever. It's not that she's the one who's going to do it. She knows the right person for every single kind of transaction.
Yeah, and when you say she's a matchmaker, that's right, because she will match you with a personality that you can easily work with and aligns with your values.
Absolutely. And you can find out more about Pod Auntie Marguerite at movetotacoma.com. rachyl.com, and she will make that referral. It costs nothing to you, and you can know that you get a great real estate agent, professional who can help you do what you want to do if you are moving to Tacoma or within Tacoma.
Welcome back, guys. Thanks for hanging out during the break. As always, a quick shout out to Doug, our lovely producer, who makes us sound wonderful every single week. And a shout out to Channel 253. Please go support that fantastic network of local podcasts. And to Chris, who has us on video. Hi. What's up, video internet, YouTube? Yeah, we have everybody has new beer in front of them, but we have a new barley wine in front of us. What is this,
It's
Ron?
an Imperial Stout barley wine blend.
Oh, shit.
From the Rubens.
Motherfuckers
the
are...
Crow.
There's a lot of blended barley wine stouts these days.
As the girl flies.
Yeah. It's Anchorage.
I know. I was going to say fucking Anchorage.
Oh, man. It smells fabulous. The crows.
Oh my.
Yes, thank you.
Yep, that's delicious.
Yeah. Settle in there.
Whoa, it's a really pretty label.
Yeah.
It's perfect to talk about hashtags.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, my gosh.
You have a hashtag question, Ron?
Yeah, are hashtags a thing?
Hashtags, I do feel like they are dying.
Yeah.
I do feel like they are dying.
I don't have to
and
learn them.
No, I feel like if you didn't already learn them, I probably would not spend the time on learning them. I think that you can use a couple, you could use a few. Sometimes I'm posting with none at all. The algorithm, I think, is really just taking the context of what you are posting and putting in there, and then it's using its own ways to find the people.
Length of engagement is another big
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
So I do like to use the hashtags to research things sometimes. If I'm trying to target a certain audience, I might type in a hashtag and see what type of things are being posted. So there's other ways to use the database that has been filled with all the hashtags, but yeah, it's not as relevant.
I never understood pound.
Oh, he's back.
So do you think it mattered by platform as well? So for the Instagram versus Facebook or Twitter or TikTok,
For Twitter, I really cannot. I'm just not the one.
No, don't even talk to
Oh, me
about
neither.
So I don't know.
I never
just
did
don't
it.
know.
Yeah, I didn't like
Threads
it.
now.
Yeah.
I've never used it for marketing. I never really used it personally. I had an account. I think I posted a couple things on.
I definitely use it to get news.
Yeah.
But not so much these
For
days.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Same thing with Threads. I don't think.
Do you think Threads is a thing?
We were just you were just talking about that, but I have still not deep dived into Threads. I don't think it's gonna take off. I think that it's convenient to use if you have your account connected to it, just like it is if you use Instagram as your main, and then you can post to Facebook.
Would you
and to-
post the same thing or you change it up?
I don't think that I would take the time, honestly,
Oh, okay.
as
Interesting.
Unless you're
Right.
posting for discussion engagement, because that's the thing
Sure.
you can't do on
Just-
Instagram.
I think
kind
that
of.
it could make sense in a certain field, in a certain topic, or around a certain type of communication. But
The mindset back in the day was post. You can post the same thing. You can't post the same thing on every single platform. You need to change it up somehow.
Because the mechanics are different on all of them.
And you want to bring in all the readers. Because
Mm-hmm.
they're going to just go here and see it and not go here and see the same thing.
Yeah.
You want
Yeah,
them to go to all of them, so you kind of want to change it up.
so you're hoping that you get multiple engagements, sometimes even from the same people, to be like, ooh, but what's over here? and what's
Exactly.
over here?
Right.
Exactly. But I don't know if that's still a thing.
Well, I feel like since Meta is now this big conglomerate with Facebook, Instagram, and with Threads, I feel like maybe this is an assumption, but that they're using the same type of algorithm tools in all of them. And so if it applies to one, that it will apply to all. And I don't know why they wouldn't do that. It would be, I think it would be a weird thought for them to not. So that's why I feel like hashtags, at least across those platforms, you don't really see it that much on TikTok. There are some as well, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's its own thing, and it's also just
And Threads
not
really doesn't encourage it at all.
Yeah. I feel like it's a dying tool that we used, and now I think that I think that some AI and things like that are being used as far as filtering through the words and knowing who your target audience is, like once you've kind of established your brand or your page or whatever, and so it's sending it out to that. Yeah.
Interesting.
So if you don't have to use hashtags, what do you do? What do you do?
Well, you want
that's a
to
good
be
question.
clear and concise in your message and your caption, and you want to be thinking about, is this going to engage somebody else, or is this informational? What is it that somebody's going to get? And sometimes it's just because even Facebook now is really like visuals. I mean, people are posting pictures, just like Instagram decided to kind of make that the platform for visuals. It's like now it's just all across the board.
I feel like it's all about fun and not really hardcore information.
Yeah. I think that using links in stories to link to more serious things or longer, like we were talking about, longer formats and stuff like that, or to link to your webpage. It's like you want to hook the customer with something that's interesting visually or piques their interest with your caption, and then you want to direct them to where they can get more information or where they can find your product or those types of things.
There's a lot of social media apps out there that are where you would do your production work to post on Instagram and all that, and they have their own music sources. And what does Instagram think when music is used, is transferred over from the app onto their platform? Do they frown upon that?
Is this like unlicensed music?
It's
or is it?
It's like an app that is built to go directly to Instagram.
So like CapCut having like their own music. Yeah, for sure.
Does Instagram immediately shadow ban you?
Not like that.
I think that Instagram absolutely wants you to do as much editing in profile as possible, and I feel like we might have touched on this a little bit. And last year, in this last year, they've also took measures to kind of add some extra features into some of their editing. TikTok, I think, is like more advanced and had way more options further back, but I think that for the audio, I don't think that it matters.
Okay.
I think that if you are using, I don't have a definitive answer with it.
Because if you import ZZ Top, as opposed to using the ZZ Top that's everywhere on Instagram already.
Well, then it's not.
I was just, it's like in general, it's probably more common that Instagram would prefer whatever features you use directly that are affiliated with them.
On their platform.
And if it is
even though
real
it's the same
music,
song.
Correct.
Yeah.
If you import it versus choosing.
Also, if it is already tagged as a trending sound, and then
someone had to start it.
Yeah,
someone had to pull that thing out.
This is true. But your trending sound
Sounds like beef, Ron.
Reusing it
All my
through a
questions
different
are beef.
platform isn't going to take you onto the same trending audio because it's not recognizing it as that right away, and so later down the line, maybe in a week or so, it might get flagged and it could be taken down for using music incorrectly and not paying dues and stuff,
or not taken down but ignored.
Or really
Less
more
likely
the
to be
shadow
trending.
ban that you're talking about.
Totally.
And that's its own whole thing when you're talking about doing ads, because you can't use any of the regular audio. It has to all be original music, like original sounds that they're not taking as something that's licensed, or it needs to be something that's like unlicensed music that you can also find on, I think you can use that on CapCut and stuff like that. Yeah.
Just taking notes over here.
Dude, okay, so this is
So what am I supposed to do? Use CapCut or not?
Absolutely use CapCut.
Yes.
So post stories, reels, which is better, not what's, no longer the cool thing to do.
That's a good question, and I feel like they're all good to use.
Okay.
I feel like reels specifically are going to help you grow your brand.
Okay.
And that is what you should be using. If you should be using that, you should be talking to your audience, and then you should be using reels to attract a new audience at the same time. So I don't think that it needs to be exclusively that. I was talking about that my weekly plan is 2 posts and 2 reels. So I'll do a post and then a reel and then a post and then a reel.
Okay.
On my like weekly planning. And
Would that be like on 4 different days, spread out?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I like to do. You can do weekend posts. I haven't seen weekend posts perform as well. People have like lives, and that's when they're out doing
For sure,
things.
yeah.
When you can think about people's regular daily routine, that's when I'm trying to post. It's either like 11:30ish for like business people that are working, and it's like their lunchtime and they're scrolling.
Yeah.
Or it's like maybe right towards the end of the day, like it could be 4:30. Maybe they're kind of sitting like, all right, I got another half an hour.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because this is just the way that people think.
Absolutely.
And then it can be like kind of early evening. You're like, all right, I'm chilling. I had dinner and now I'm just relaxing on the couch. And also that's kind of like scrolling time. So I'm just like thinking about people's daily lifestyle and when the majority of people are going to be on and looking, because you want to post as close to that as possible, because the sooner you get that engagement, the more Instagram is going to push that out to people and say, well, this is for any. I'm saying Instagram because that's my personal favorite platform, but really any of the platforms that will apply to.
Are you posting to YouTube stories?
I'm not posting on YouTube. I'm not using any YouTube yet, and I haven't used any TikTok yet for business, this business at least. Yeah, I did for Silver City, but
Silver City, you used TikTok?
I started TikTok, and I also did a similar thing with them, and it was like 2 posts and 2 reels, and so then just the reels I would obviously, because you don't want to post pictures on the...
No.
Yeah, right.
So the reels I would upload...
I'm old, so I never use TikTok for my business stuff at all.
The feature question is a good question. And in general, like whatever the newest feature is on any platform is the thing that you should be using if you want that platform to give preference to whatever your content is.
Yeah.
Because if they introduce a new feature, they're going to promote the people who are utilizing it. When Instagram put carousels out, so you could put multiple pictures on a single post, that was, if you weren't doing that, your post was getting drowned out by everybody else.
Yeah. That is still the best way if you're going to do a regular post.
Correct. Non-video posts.
Exclusively do carousel posts.
Where you have to scroll.
Yeah, because it also shows, it will pop up on the same people's timeline sometimes, but with a different photo. It will show them different photos, and so
that's good to know.
Somebody might not see one of them or might not engage with one, but then another photo they might resonate with them more, and so it's just that much more of a possibility to get a like or comment or interaction.
If you have 4 photos and the majority of people spend 2 seconds on the first 2 photos and then 4 seconds on the third photo, the third photo will come up more often.
Nice.
Yeah. I feel like people are using the social platforms as a search engine also.
Yeah, for sure. I think that I have used that, at least as far as, researching breweries that I might want to check out in different areas. I'm usually not going to Google. Because it's also like some of the breweries are being paid for, and it's like, okay, that's why they're at the top of the search engine. It's not necessarily because they're the most popular. So I'll look through and I'll check out their social media, and if the social media looks decent, there's some that really doesn't, and I will skip that brewery if it just does. If it looks if it's a bunch of flyers on everything and there's a bunch of, I'm like, I don't think that I want to go check that out. Yeah.
So have I talked to you guys about Hamilton Brewing in California? I feel like I've told this story about Hamilton. Okay. So I'm glad you're here actually, because so this is like an unusual thing. And if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. So there's a popular business and marketing YouTube that I follow, Chris Doe. He's fantastic and has a lot of really cool info on just how to engage with consumers, which I do think the craft beer industry generally doesn't do an awesome job with that. Some breweries really do, but they're really the outliers. I can maybe name 6 breweries off the top of my head that have more than 50,000 Instagram followers, which if you consider any other industry, the top brands in any other industry have 10 times that, which is fucking insane. Yeah. So it's just not something that our industry as a whole is really capitalizing on. Right. So, I follow.
Or allowed?
Oh yeah, there's
Maybe
that bit too.
with alcohol specifically.
Yep.
Yeah,
Drinking.
that's
So Christo runs Blind Designs, which is funny because Blind Tiger is a popular design thing. So Blind Designs actually did a 10-episode series on Hamilton Family Brewers down in California, where they gave you like a really deep dive on rebranding a brewery. So it's fucking awesome. If you're a brewery, I do feel like I've mentioned this before, but if you're a brewery and you haven't checked it out, you absolutely should. You can look up Hamilton Family Breweries on YouTube, and you can find this series where they completely rebrand everything. So logo, can design, all of this stuff. But the people who did it are non-beer industry people. They rebrand shoes and apparel companies and like other products, but not beer. So they're applying non-beer marketing knowledge to a beer brand, which is like, if you think about it, like this is a really good study in like how this sort of knowledge applies to the beer world, because there's not a ton of overlap there. People who are buying awesome shoes or awesome hats or whatever are not, you know, they're not always like the typical craft beer consumers. So you can watch this thing, and as I'm watching this thing about Hamilton, I'm listening to the brewer talk about his beer, and I was pretty sure that his beer was probably not great. Probably not very good. Just listening to him talk about it, I'm like, this sounds really old school. Like, it doesn't sound like he's probably kept up with like a lot of the trends. I imagine if his beer was up here, it probably wouldn't do as well.
Maybe you should sing it.
So, damn it, Ron.
The room where it
I can
happens.
see you. I can see that festering behind your eyes. Yeah.
Ron Hamilton.
But if you go onto their social media, it is fucking crisp. It's so good. They have like 40, 50,000 followers, I think, which is more than like Drecker. It's more than like
lot.
Burial.
Yeah.
It's more than like some of the most popular brands you can think of in the beer world. If you go on Untapped, I want to say their average beer rating is like 3.7 or something like that.
that's okay.
It's okay, but like it's okay, and like obviously Untapped is like, you know, you can have your thoughts about it. That's a separate beer beef episode.
Multiple.
Just put a description on it.
However,
Can you identify what are the
leave me
hallmarks of
hanging.
these campaigns?
the hallmarks of like their
Hamilton.
rebrand, you mean?
Yeah.
So
how are they successful without knowing exactly a lot about beer?
so
What are they drawing on?
So there's a couple of things that they did. So the social media presence is the big thing, which is like that to me is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So they really cleaned up their social media presence. Their pictures are really clean. They're utilizing all of the mechanics. They're posting really well produced videos. But the other thing is that their label design is like really consistent now. Their logo is kind of a difficult thing to really make translate in the beer world. Obviously, we had like Brett from Lumberbeard on here who was aiming to design an iconic logo, and he really did do that, but it's tough in the beer world. But their cans are like basically consistent branding across the cans. If you handed me one of their cans, I would be able to identify every other beer they made, even if there was no writing on the can, because the design elements are so similar.
That's a fantastic thing.
Super
That is
important,
great.
right?
Yeah, that's
Really
so
important.
important.
So
Yeah.
what's interesting about this is like if they're successful now, which they are now, they're like tremendously successful. That was 4 years ago that this rebrand happened, right? And it's not like those videos went fucking viral. They have far less views than the rest of the videos on this guy's channel because it is the craft beer world and it's just kind of niche. But they are a very successful brewery in that area now, even though their beer probably doesn't necessarily translate. The quality of their beer maybe doesn't translate to the quality of like their branding or their social media presence. If breweries that were really high quality actually did have this same focus on, like, first of all, quality branding, which we've talked about, but also quality social media presence, I don't think we've actually seen what the ceiling of that is. The only breweries that I know of who really take social media as seriously like that are fucking smoothie beer producers. I'm not kidding, dude. I'm not kidding.
Exploding cans.
Smoothie beer producers, and Great Notion.
Yeah,
That's
I was
it.
just gonna ask you.
Great Notion.
That was one that came to my mind immediately when you said that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Which, I mean, they also had their time in smoothie beers.
Oh yeah,
but
they still do for sure.
Still,
do,
right?
Yeah, they
I
do.
don't think
So
they
they still
stop.
fall
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah.
They make fantastic
But you can
lagers too.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, their lagers the last couple of years have been and they've teamed up with amazing lager houses, and I think that was the key to that. So it's like the
Totally.
IPA's on point,
Well, I mean-
smoothies on point.
Speaking of social media, collaborations are the thing.
Collaborations are the thing.
Let's not be enemies. Let's collaborate.
Yes.
That is a really nice social media trend, actually. I like
Yeah.
I love it too.
So positive.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it should be more of a beer trend just in general and not even a trend.
Hell
like,
yeah.
absolutely. And-
Competitors collaborate.
yes. Yeah, you learn so much from each other, and I think that it's a
Yeah.
really interesting thing when there's certain cities that do it so well, and then certain cities that are just like, no.
Yeah.
Like, we're like arch enemies.
Well, Tacoma does it well.
Yeah,
Same
good.
thing's happening in music.
Tacoma collaborates well.
Okay, yeah. I was like, are you being facetious right now?
No, I'm serious.
No.
It seems like we're all collaborating.
Good.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
for
was
sure.
just going to ask,
Yeah.
so what breweries do you think are doing it really, really well? So, yeah.
Me too.
Sorry, Bethany.
Good job, Phaedra.
Together.
I
We
feel
did
like
it together.
I have been, like, so focused on
Non-beer.
Yeah.
beer brands because I'm looking at like seltzer brands and stuff as far as like what
Yeah.
I'm applying
Yeah.
to different things.
Well, that too. I would say.
Yeah, just
beer,
yeah.
and
Who do you
also
think is
any
doing it
Instagram
really, really
account,
well?
like
He's
any
figured
social
it
media
out.
account.
Well, I mean,
you
side piece.
appreciate.
Side piece.
So what we're talking about is the opposite.
It is.
So it's not crisp and clean.
This is the real
This is just-
grassroots
this is
community.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the food is amazing.
Yeah.
The gritty,
And the combination of her being real and the food.
Yeah.
Of course, it's 30,000 or whatever it is
Right.
now.
Yeah, holy
Yeah.
shit.
Well, so here's the
Huge success
yeah.
story.
Amazing
here's
job.
yeah, for
Very
sure. Side
sweet.
piece fucking crushes.
Yeah.
So there actually, it's funny that you even bring that up because there's a ton of lessons that like the industry could learn from what
For
they're
sure.
doing, right? Like
Just be real.
Just
Yeah.
be real. For
Yeah.
first of all,
Yes.
like be honest,
But
right?
not fake.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be honest.
real,
But
not
be
fake.
real.
Yeah.
Same.
Real.
But the idea, but the whole point,
Exactly. That's what I mean.
the whole point is real. The whole point is engagement. The whole point is like how if you're a brewery, why do you do brewers nights? Why do you do beer dinners? Why do you do events? It's all engagement. But like if I can change how 12 people who attend my beer dinner choose their beer in the future. Oh my gosh, like here's this big wall of beer. I don't know who the fuck I don't know what I'm looking at. Oh wait, there's this brewery that I did a really cool thing with one time. I'm gonna grab that because I recognize that. I had a cool experience or whatever.
Yeah.
The most efficient way to engage with your customers is to find them on the internet and then engage with them that way. Which
comments.
Side piece
Yeah.
does really,
Yeah.
really well.
Yes, they do.
So like the lesson is engagement, right? Like how can I get 30,000 people to go, oh my gosh, those guys post the funniest shit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I totally relate to the stuff that they say. It might matter less, which Hamilton to me is an example of this. It might matter less whether or not the quality of the product actually lives up to that, because if you're engaging enough, people will try it. The difference is that side piece also just makes really high quality shit.
For sure.
So like they're coming at it from both these angles where like the quality actually matches the quality of their product matches the quality of their engagement. And that's like the disconnect, I think, is that there's a ton of breweries who make fantastic quality shit, but the quality of their consumer engagement doesn't match.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think.
And I think it's because a lot of brewers focus on the beer and the brewing and the product and forget about
They're like, well, this is great, a great
Marketing.
product, so
that's all you
enough.
need.
Yeah. No.
And
Yeah.
I've built it. They're gonna come.
Yeah.
Right, and it's not
It's just
how
not
it's
enough.
not how it works.
No.
Yeah.
And it's
Yep.
unfortunate that great breweries can then go under and that not
Yeah.
great breweries can
Can
excel.
just
And
stay
you're like, what the
forever.
hell? And I think that we've all witnessed that through COVID
Yeah.
and beyond.
Yeah.
And it will just continue to
Yeah.
be that way. It's like, I don't know what the rhyme or reason is. I think that absolutely being real, I think that you need to either be so real and have the product really like stand for itself as in side piece, or you have to spend a lot of money and get that marketing on
Polish,
point.
yeah,
You just have
And
to
be
recognize
like-
that it's important.
Yeah.
It's just important. It's just as important as the liquid.
Yeah. I think it's
Also
an
beef.
attention-
Also another beef,
Also
right?
beef.
I think
But
it's
no,
an
it
attention
is.
to detail across the board. I
Yeah.
think that if I see a social media page that looks crisp and clean and it has great descriptions on the beer and great pictures of the beer, and then I expect the quality of the beer to be good. I think
That's
it's
such a good point.
It's just
It's
it's
the
the
same
way
with
that we
labels.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
It's the same with
Yeah.
labels.
You're buying with your eyes. I mean, you really do. And I think that like if somebody's posting a beer with a dirty beer glass, then I'm like, that's not I don't care what the beer is that you spent all that time making. It's like then you want all of the other pieces in place
It's
too.
one big old package.
Yeah.
You can't neglect different parts of it and expect to be successful. I don't think.
Which is tough because like people have the thing that they're really passionate about, and in the beer world, it's not. I mean, there's so many other pieces. That's why you have to like bring in the right people that are
And be
passionate about
brave too.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, side piece.
Yes.
That was a gamble, but it's so real. It absolutely worked.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I think that people are sick of seeing like these really pretty facades and perfectly.
I feel like that too.
Curated little things, and everybody just like
influencer stuff.
It's like, oh my God,
just the
like you can be
perfect.
Being relatable.
For
sure.
Buddies.
If you can do chicken and waffles, you've got it made. But Buddies is amazing.
Well, shit. I know. It's honestly Tacoma food does really kill it with social media.
Yeah, for real.
What can beer learn from Tacoma food?
Yes. Yeah, and that we shouldn't necessarily be looking at just other beer brands. Like marketing across the board, just like we were talking about with the shoe, a shoe company.
Bring non-beer people in for the perspective on this, especially if you want to reach audiences that are not here already.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Speaking of, well, we've been talking about all kinds of stuff. Anyway, hey, have you fucked up recently? Have you ever lost a kid? Have you ever lost a child? Have you ever misplaced your offspring?
It happens. Hey, two of us at this table have done it.
I feel like every this isn't like any kind of big fuck up. Every camping trip, I like forget something, or there's something that I should have thought about as far as the weather. So like this is just like a lesson. It's just a little heartwarming lesson, and one of the reasons why I love camping is that that I learn something new every time that I go camping. I have a million fuck ups. So many fuck ups.
Have you ever almost died? Because that's the Sean standard.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No.
Well, I'm not fucking up that bad.
Because she's a woman. She doesn't do that.
No.
Matt didn't like that.
I don't know if the female superiority argument 2 minutes after you just told us that you lost your fucking kid is like the move right now.
I sort of lost him.
But anyway.
Kids get their own minds, though.
Totally.
Friggin' A. It's like,
completely autonomous.
Postpartum.
He's fine.
I wish I could think of a good story.
No, it's fine.
I'd have to brainstorm.
I fucked up plenty, and I don't know. They all just mushed together.
I mean, I went into the military, and that was a fuck up. It's not for me, but personally speaking.
You have never posted something that you had to immediately delete?
Good question.
That is a good question. I don't think that I have.
Really?
Fuck, I've done it so many times.
Oh my God.
I've done that
so
many
times.
I think that I don't. Like,
Really?
Sweaty moments.
I've done that so
what
many
kind
times.
of thing would you feel like you had that you were like you misspoke or?
Maybe not. Okay.
You weren't thinking about this one thing.
No, that's not true. I mean, but it's so silly.
It's a tough world these days.
No, it is a tough world. It wasn't like that.
I'm trying not to get canceled.
It was about like how I might be viewed or something, but honestly I just don't care anymore, to be honest. I mean, to be perfectly honest,
that's awesome.
I'm just like, I'm gonna be my authentic self, and I do just feel like it will filter out the people, and I have lost followers from it, and I think that I've also like built a better following because of it, found more of my people that are like super engaged.
Do you have a specific example of like a post that you put up where you were like, "Fuck, I'm gonna lose 10%
well,
with this"?
This was like years ago. In a story, I smoked some weed, and it's like it's legal here. But I was like, this isn't what I show on my account. And what am I gonna? Is there gonna be some kind of weird backlash? And like, and I don't.
Beers and weed time.
I know.
I was gonna say, who?
I'm like, who fucking cares?
If you're following an Instagram account called Beers and Bedtime, and you draw the line at marijuana, you're a fucking dork.
No, I feel like there have been much more provocative, all kinds of things since.
I lost some moms with this one.
It's just probably not.
The George shirt is a giveaway.
Yeah.
Break on through.
I have done, that and other thing. I mean,
Oh my God.
in my life.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think that authentic marketing obviously works, and I also think like just it's refreshing to see authentic people, and it might resonate with some people, and it might be cringe to some people or whatever. But yeah, I think that like I'm just trying to be myself and trying to not
That's
blur the
awesome.
lines between different parts of me
Yeah.
on my own social platform because I can and I should,
Yeah.
and we all should.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've had to pull posts for sure. One time
She's running
I
through them in her head.
I accidentally, because I had 4 different bars, so I accidentally posted a Kohl's post to the Parkway.
I do that. I do that all the time.
Okay, so that's actually true. I did a Beers and Bedtime post on
Ruh-roh.
Silver City or whatever.
Yeah,
which
for sure.
There's been
And I was like,
many,
"Oh,"
many.
You're like, immediately. Yeah. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
There's been
No.
many pigs posts on Grin Grain.
on Grin Grain,
I tell you,
right, yeah.
For 30
so
seconds.
It can happen. But yeah, I posted that.
Yeah.
You know, can't wait to see you and the kids and blah blah blah, and you know, family
Parkway.
you know,
Parkway
yeah, on the
Yes!
Parkway, and everybody freaked out.
Yeah.
They were like,
And if there's a lot of links, it's
"What?
just horrible. to
Like,
do.
oh
What
my God.
kids? Oh my God, the world
What?
is ending.
Yeah, oh my-
Kids of the Parkway? No, yeah. So
Like adding liquor.
You're like, no, chill
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
It was an
my
accident.
God.
Like,
sorry.
All right, Grit and Grainers, email us at cheers@gritandgrainpodcast.com with your comments, opinions, and reasons why people should subscribe to social media besides to meet like-minded people. I'll sit with that for a second. We read and drink everything we receive, and we try to respond as fast as we can. If not online, then on air. You can subscribe to Grit and Grain on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher. And please leave us a review. Also check us out on Channel 253. And maybe gritandgrainpodcast.com. Sure. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for episode notes, beer news, and ways community is flourishing with social media via countless bizarre blinking, winking communication devices, even though the kids sit side by side without discussion, just typing emojis and acronyms and selfies and hop farm videos. These frayed human interconnections can constantly regenerating the new and unexpected ways, like nerve endings after a Taylor Swift album release, until they start their own annoying but actually relatively cool blog, and then they beg all their friends to post comments. If this podcast is not what you expected, please alter expectations. When it comes to social media, I have an inferiority complex, but it's not in a good way. No such thing as a bad time to visit Tacoma. No such thing as too much barley wine. Tune in next Friday for more sweet chatter. Cheers.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us at Grit and Grain Podcast wherever you get your social media and catch new episodes every Friday. Cheers.
Channel 253 is member supported. I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I hope you will show your support by going to channel253.com/membership and join. Thank you. Grit and Grain is part of the Channel 253 podcast network. Check out our other shows: Nerd Farmer, Interchangeable White Ladies, Move to Tacoma, Crossing Division, Citizen Tacoma, What Say You, We Are Tacoma, Flounders B Team, and Taco Man.
This is Channel 253.